So the older I get, the more it becomes obvious that what people do to each other is far worse than anything supernatural you'll see in a movie. Sure, Christopher Lee as Dracula was scary, but the real Vlad Tepes was fucking terrifying. Dracula drinks your blood because he's a vampire, but the real Vlad Tepes impaled his enemies through the genital area up through the torso until they died. See the difference? Anyway, nothing brings the idea of horrible people home more than David Fincher's Zodiac, based on the real-life Zodiac killings of the 1960s that terrorized the San Francisco area for years. This movie was released in 2007, but Fincher had already delved face first into the serial killer rabbit hole with Seven back in 1995, the more than demonic tale of a killer who selects his targets based on which of the seven deadly sins they committed. Unlike Seven, though, that slow burned its way to an evil as fuck crescendo, Zodiac has a completely different approach that is replete with frustrations and investigative roadblocks that are interrupted by brief moments of hardcore horror that define a police case that never reaches a conclusion. The story starts out with a series of seemingly random shooting and stabbing murders by an unknown assailant that we understand as the Zodiac. The Zodiac then proceeds to write to the San Francisco Chronicle and other newspapers in the area, boasting of the crimes and providing specific details only he would know. He goes so far to even threaten the newspapers that if they don't publish his letters and the ciphers he sends for them to solve, he'll go on a murder spree and even shoot up a school bus full of kids. This would be a no-go zone in a typical screenplay, but in real life it was a letter that was actually sent and a threat that was actually rendered. Shit, man. Working for the Chronicle is cartoonist Robert Graysmith, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Graysmith has no direct connection to the letters or the investigation, but seems to take the responsibility of solving the murders onto himself over a period of years, over time developing an obsession that comes at the cost of his family, who are terrified that he might actually be right and fall under the Zodiac's gaze before he's caught. Fincher's Seven had a rhythm to it. It took place over a short period of time, and no matter how insane the ending, it reached a finale that firmly shut the door on the story. That doesn't happen in real life. This story jumps at times weeks, months, and even years ahead as the killer disappears into the ether. The investigation stops and starts, but mostly stalls, as the police, despite their best efforts, are never able to bring the case to a close. The Zodiac gets away. There's an ensemble cast here. Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, Anthony Edwards, Elias Koteas, Brian Cox, Donnell Logue, Dermot Mulroney, and Chloe Sevigny. Everyone brings their best to this. Even Mark Ruffalo, who I can't stand as Bruce Banner and the Hulk in the current MCU, is fantastic as the ever-frustrated Detective David Toschi, one of the co-lead police investigators on the case. I think the thing that really scared the bejesus out of me was the theme of uncertainty throughout the entire movie. No one investigating the case is ever on sure footing, and so by extension, neither is the viewer. Because the Zodiac is never caught, you never understand why he killed all those people. It reminds me of upper-level possession movies where the demon always says the only thing you'll ever be able to count on is never understanding why. Except here, it's real. John Carroll Lynch's performance as Arthur Lee Allen, the real-life primary suspect in the case, is great, but the fact that no one has ever proved to be the killer, combined with the fact that this was an actual serial killer case, makes it really scary. That's before you start to delve into some of the other suspects, which really causes you to ponder how many people are out there that are 4 cans short of a 6-pack. I can't recommend this movie enough for anyone who'd like a glimpse of what real horror is about. It's not streaming anywhere right now, but it'll be back soon on any number of streaming services. Save your time on Scream and Halloween. Real evil is right here all the time, and it doesn't die.